Hello, welcome to Fola's School of Positive Parenting. In today's video, we'll be considering methods of constructively criticizing your kids. You know I love telling stories. Let me tell you a short story about me. A friend told me recently that I dance well, and she referred to a particular video where she saw me dancing. So I had to go back and check out this video, and I discovered, truly, I dance well. Wait! Where did that notion come from that I'm not a good dancer? I started pondering on this, and it occurred to me that people who have been talking about dancing around me, especially when I dance, would always point out the not too perfect aspect of my dance steps. This is something that has been happening right from my childhood days, and I guess it got stuck to me that I'm not a good dancer. So I'm always very conscious of my dance moves generally, which sort of affected that part of my brain that could project it better. So I would always sit down when people are dancing just because of what some people might say. Until recently though, how is this related to the subject of the video? Now listen, our responsibility as parents is to instill in our kids good social behavior. Part of this responsibility is to correct their mistakes. Giving our kids constructive criticism is one of the ways we can achieve this. Correcting a child is not an option. It is our duty as parents to redirect our children. How then can we as parents redirect our children in such a way that it does not get in the way of the healthy parent-child relationship? Let's analyze this together. First, you must understand that your child has feelings that can be hurt and self-esteem that can be crushed. If you criticize in an unconstructive or belittling way, you must try to relate with them as you would like others relate with you. Being a child doesn't mean being less human. What you will not take, don't put it to your child. Another thing is to understand that the goal of your criticism is to educate, not to punish or embarrass or to seek revenge against your child. No transfer of aggression. When you criticize, you must have something you are trying to teach. Quickly, let me show you 4 things to be considered in order to avoid biased criticism. Number 1, criticize the behavior, not the child. Remember, you have a goal. You are trying to correct your child. So focus on the correction. Focus on the behavior, not on the child. Number 2, do not label your child. It will certainly have negative results. Children get the sense of who they are from what others tell them. You can relate this to the story I told you at the earlier part of my video. When you give your child a label like irresponsible, stupid, dirty, lazy, and so on, the label will eventually stick with disastrous consequences, of course. Number 3, spare your child the embarrassment of having them rebuked in front of others or out in the public. If you are fond of doing this, please stop. If you have to correct your child, let it be done in a place where there is no third party. Now the 4th point, let your criticism dwell on the future. You should acknowledge the mistake, but make it clear that the reason you are speaking to him or her is to correct that mistake and that he can improve and avoid such misbehavior in the future. Now let's continue with our original topic, how to constructively criticize your child. You must offer an opportunity to correct the wrong. Your child has to know what he did was wrong. He should also be given the opportunity to redeem himself by correcting the mistakes. You should have suggestions on how the wrong can be corrected. This will give him a chance to take responsibility for his actions. It would also allow him to put the mistakes behind him and go on. Okay. This one is interesting. Our goal when we give criticism is to do it as painlessly as possible so it will be received properly by the child. It must be clear to your child when you deliver your message that you are doing it for the child's sake. If your child knows that what you are saying is because you love him, the message will be better received. Avoid doing it in anger, because if you do, nothing else will be heard except the anger. This is not easy, especially when you are mad at the child. You know, there are situations where you're just so mad and hot that you feel like the heavens will fall. It is easy to talk about it, write about it, and read about it, especially when there's nobody around and everything is calm. But it is harder to apply this idea when there is a chaos going on and the tensions are high. Still, we have to acknowledge at least the proper ways to do things, or else we will never be successful. Next, it helps a lot when you give criticism to visualize things from your child's perspective and couch your words in such a way that your child knows clearly you understand him. Empathy is the key. Remember, you were also once a child. Arubo Shogeri, you know, and I always say, Basho Bajo Shokoto, yo joki jipa. Keep that if you understand Yoruba. And also, it is better sometimes to delay criticism. Don't always jump in to criticize your child. Think before reacting if it is the best time or place to rebuke your child. When children do something wrong, they will be expecting the criticism right away. And when the child is expecting the reaction, the guard is up. It will react by defending himself and fighting back. He will not hear what you want to say. Rather, he will be bent on defending himself. Sometimes it is better to wait until things quiet down. Then you can discuss rationally with your child and the child will understand. You will also be calmer and be able to deliver a better and clearer message to your child. Finally, I know this last one will surprise you. The purpose of criticism is to correct future behavior. If it is clear to a child I did something wrong and he already feels bad about what was done and he is not likely to repeat it, there's no need to add pepper to his injury. Refrain from further criticism. You are killing a child every time you condemningly point out the negative rather than constructively exalting the positive. Even when your child is not doing well, you need to criticize sensibly, positively, and constructively. Did you get my message? To constructively criticize your child, building the child and not tearing your child down. You must understand that your child also has feelings and must not be belittled in any way. You must also remember never to be biased when rebuking your child. You must also offer your child the opportunity to correct the wrong. Correct in love, avoid anger. Visualize things from your child's perspective whenever you are trying to criticize. You've once been a child yourself. Remember, it is better sometimes to delay criticism or not to criticize at all, depending on what the situation is. We've come to the end of this video. I'll see you in the next one. But until then, remember, being a parent is challenging, but the more effort you put into guiding your child into adulthood, the more joy you will have when you get to partake in your child's achievement throughout his or her lifetime. See you in the next video. Bye.